125 years, Trinity Everett has stood the test of time. That's 5 generations of folks that have come to Trinity. My grandparents being one of the first generations at Trinity some 5 generations ago. Rogers Hall was not what it was or is today. Rogers Hall has held soup kitchens, dances, auctions, dinners a many, and all kinds of annual church meetings. The bathrooms at one time were behind the current stage, and you had to go down a long hallway to get to. The bathrooms connected to the narthex were about the same, but slightly different than they were 5 generations ago. The stage at one time was a common place to hold Christmas pageants and all kinds of other things for the church and other organizations that used it. Our boiler has stood the test of time, providing heat for all those that come to use the facilities. But let's say after 5 generations, it's pretty tired. Now, we also have a lower level to the church that is only accessed through stairs right now. Trinity has been known as a welcoming place for those 125 years. But just imagine if we were to renew our space of Trinity through this capital campaign where we could invite in so many others and increase Trinity's welcome reach. So I ask you to join us in supporting this capital campaign for Trinity. Refresh, renew, rejoice, and imagine what Trinity could be like for the next 5 generations.
Our capital campaign theme is Refresh, Renew, Rejoice. We will refresh our current space and bring it into the 21st century. And in doing so, we will need to renew our commitments to one another, both spiritually and financially. And when we do, we will be able to rejoice in what we've accomplished together through the grace of God and the Spirit represented in the doves.
Hello there. I am David Spring, the music director and organist here at Trinity for coming up on 20 years. Seen a lot of changes, a lot of wonderful things, and have a lot of gratitude for the support that so many people have given to our music program, both in terms of taking part, our wonderful choir, and the kids programs, and so many instrumentalists, and the support of so many people in the congregation. It has made it a truly wonderful place to make a joyful noise. One of the challenges that has held us back a little bit of late has been the accessibility of our basement, particularly the choir room for some of our elderly folks and those who just happen to have a leg injury or something that prevents them from being able to use the stairs safely. I had an experience myself a couple of years ago when I took a spill and had to use crutches to get around for several days. And I'm going, oh, this is what it is like. And before, since I'm able to take the stairs 2 or 3 at a time, but can't all do that. So we have not only several in the choir who need to use a cane, we have one in a wheelchair at times, and we also have outside groups that would like to have the accessibility to the basement too, but are prevented. For example, our AA group meets in the guild room on most days, every Friday, and they cannot meet in the guild room when there's an event in Rogers Hall because of sound bleeding across the room, or on days that they have like a service in the church, so they're left to go someplace else, and the basement is not an option because there are sometimes people there who use canes or walkers, and one gal in particular comes in a wheelchair fairly often. So having the ability to make the building fully usable will help us use the space more, give more options for groups like our own prayer shawl ministry and breakout groups for discussion groups and things like that, so that all are welcome and all may take a place at the table. So I hope you are able to see this, help us see this part of our goal, and help us continue building into a new generation, making a joyful noise unto the Lord and welcoming people to the doors of Trinity Episcopal Church. Thank you for your support, and God bless.
Hi, I'm Richard and Rhonda McGee. We're part of the hospitality ministry here at Trinity. And one of the goals of the Refresh, Renew, and Rejoice campaign is the renovation of Rogers Hall, which will enhance our ability to minister to Trinity's congregation as well as the community. You know, the welcome and friendship shown to Ron and I by so many of you through Trinity's hospitality ministries, hey, coffee hour every Sunday, have been so key to our sense of inclusion here at Trinity. So we feel like this ministry is what first connected us to Trinity, and we want to see that continues and grows.
So the heart of the hospitality ministry is not just about ministering to our own, it's also about reaching out to our community. When you walk into Rogers Hall, you can see that Trinity has a history of doing this by virtue of the fact that we have a basketball goal that's still in our hall. And that indicates that at one time, historically, Trinity was a place where the community got together and to gather around the sporting events. But today, this facility is used for other things. Today, we use it for receptions for weddings and funerals and special fun events like St. Patrick's Day dinner and the Jazz Night event. So what's happened is our ministry focus has changed in terms of how we do hospitality ministry, but the facilities have remained the same. So that's why we believe that Rogers Hall needs to be refreshed and renewed so that we can do a better job of rejoicing.
Outreach is very important to Trinity. We have a wonderful large space that can serve the community in many ways with concerts and other events. But when people come here, what they see is a large room with a basketball hoops and a tile floor, bathrooms that no one really wants to use, big drafty windows. We need to renew and refresh this whole facility we have so that it can be of better use and be much more in demand by the whole community.
Hello, Trinity family. I am here as part of the Refresh, Renew, Rejoice capital campaign to talk to you briefly about the very important role that each and every one of us play in the success of this campaign and in the future of Trinity for generations to come. What am I asking of each of you and of myself? Prayer. We all know the powerful impact this will have on the success of the campaign. Many times you have heard me talk at the annual meeting about a faith-based budget, and then miraculously, with the help of your prayers and God, we come through that year. Please pray with me each day that we are successful in doing God's work for Trinity and the community, and that through our campaign we bring more love, light, and tolerance into the world every day. Please also pray for guidance on your contribution to the campaign. It is through faithful, sacrificial giving that we are lifted up. Each and every one of us has a role to play in the success of this campaign. It will take every one of us. It starts with the widow's mite and goes through those that God has blessed abundantly in this world with His riches, that are here for them to steward while they're here on earth. Please prayerfully consider what you can contribute and stretch with your own faith-based budget to honor God and to help Trinity reach our goals, knowing that in doing so, God will provide the means for you to meet your pledge. If each of us do this and pray, our campaign will be a huge success. Thank you in advance, and may God bless you, and may God bless the Refresh, Renew, and Rejoice capital campaign.
I am excited to be a part of Trinity's Refresh, Renew, Rejoice campaign because Trinity is a home to me. This is where Kevin and I got married and our children were baptized and my parents are in the columbarium, and it really is a place that offers comfort and solace to me and to my family.
And I'm involved because I want to ensure the future of Trinity and see it thrive as we go forward.
Since I've been with Trinity, I've been really impressed with the exterior of the building. It's really beautiful. It reminded me of my own church, which looks more like a cathedral. However, one of the things that the reason why I like being part of this is that with upgrading the interior of the church will definitely make a big difference for our older parishioners.
We need an elevator to make downstairs more accessible. Downstairs is the Sunday school and youth group, choir, and all kinds of other activities which need to be accessible to the elderly and people with disabilities.
I've talked to any number of people, both Trinity and non-Trinity, just Everett people. And they have come to Rogers Hall as young people when it was the place for young people to gather. What I've learned is that Rogers Hall hasn't changed very much. True, the stage has been blocked off and the basketball hoops can't be used, but other than that there's very little change. We really need to update it. This is 75, since World War II. We need to start with the windows and then go on from there and make it something that really is useful for today's needs.
Hi, I'm Alan. Why I support this capital campaign. It is all about the future of our church. It is about the spiritual development of our kids, our youth, our future, our outreach, the whole community. It is needed, it's necessary, it's way overdue. We're good.
Hi, I'm Reverend Rachel Tabor Hamilton, the rector at Trinity Episcopal in Everett. And as we launch into this capital campaign of Refresh, Renew, Rejoice, I'm privileged to be able to share with you that this has been a multi-year process of very important vision and mission development in doing several assessments through surveys and outside consultants to understand how our mission and vision need to inform the changes that we have to make to our physical buildings. We've inherited wonderful bounty from the generations that have gone before, from the 1920s that created our heritage sanctuary, into the 50s and 60s and 70s and the various additions, including the 1950s Parish Hall, which was originally constructed more as a youth gathering place for all of Snohomish County. Now that those needs have been met through other kinds of resources in the ensuing years, like YMCA and other youth shelters, we no longer need to use the Parish Hall as a community gathering space, as a gymnasium. We also need to be able to update our spaces so that all our members, including those who have physical challenges, can access our downstairs resources that include our education classrooms and our music rooms. In order for them to be full participants in those as Sunday school teachers or musicians, we need to install an elevator so that everyone has access to that level. And finally, when we think about how we're going to refresh, renew the Parish Hall, it's very clear from our mission and vision that we want to be working more closely with our community partners and the important relationships that we've developed. And they need to be able to use spaces that we have to offer, like the space of our Parish Hall, but in ways not as a gymnasium, but are more welcoming as focus for speakers and other kinds of important gatherings, receptions, weddings, funerals. So these kinds of efforts hearts are the ways that we're going to be living into our vision for our space. We've inherited a bounty, and now it's our time to pay